Let's talk programming. What do you think that means? What does it mean to be programmed? Who does the programming? How does it get in there? If you don't know that you're programmed, then you're not paying attention to your habits and your behaviors and your patterns. You're most definitely programmed already in one way, shape, or form, and the present life you lead in every waking moment of your day is the evidence of the programming that you are falling subject to, let's say. So if you would like a different life, you need to update or change your quote-unquote programming. How do you do that? Well, it's got to get deep, right? It's got to get deep. The things that are ingrained in you that have you reacting the way you do to the things in your environment, the stimulus that come up in your day-to-day life, whether that be traffic or a boss or a coworker or your mom or your brother or your spouse or whatever, right? When somebody has that ability to get you all up right there like that, right? And you want to respond, you want to get upset, you want to have, maybe it's a verbal thing, you want to attack them or make them feel small or something, right? Those people have an effect on you. They have an ability to jar you and get you. Why is that? It's because of your programming, right? And if you dig deep enough, you can kind of start to figure out what that is. I think those are the roads people go through with like therapy and some other kinds of things and spiritual awakenings and things of this nature. And they lead to self-acceptance and self-discovery and a lot of those things. And you can uncover a lot of the pieces that are beneath your motivations and beneath your responses. And that's what I'm talking about when I say programming. And are they changeable? Of course they are. Of course they are. And they go deep, right? They go deep, and they're subliminal in a way. They're subconscious is maybe a better word, right? We internalize them so deeply that they become an underneath, an invisible operating system that's going on underneath, right? And it's how we react when the bus is late. And it's how we react when we don't get the grade we expected on a paper at school. And it's all those things are coming from this programming I'm talking about. And yes, it can be changed. How do you change it? Well, you have to change it on purpose, obviously, and you have to be willing to put the time in because it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time to come up with ideas that are helpful in changing programming, period. Then it's going to take time to implement them. Then it's going to take time to recognize which ones work and which ones don't, right? You're going to have to spend time looking at this and trying this and kind of beating your head against the same wall over and over again until you can come up with a series of things that for you and your unique and one and only circumstance works to sort of coax out the real you and allow that to grow. And that's how you reprogram. That's what programming is. So you've been programmed in some way, your upbringing, your traumas, your past, all these things, and these can all be upgraded. And you can do that. You can do that by writing things out. You can do that by changing the narrative. You can do that by, I don't know what you call it, but you sort of detach from your thoughts. You detach from the story in your head, your narrative. You know, if you have one that's like, oh, I'll never make it, I'm not good enough, that kind of thing doesn't happen to me, I have the worst luck, you know, that kind of Eeyore sort of story that I think a lot of us tell, and even if we don't notice it, it's kind of back there somewhere. It's just in there. It's lodged deep for some reason. And maybe it's just every time you hear that, the new way to program is to just start saying, hey, wait a minute, that's not true. Why not me? Like everyone else was just like me. Why not me? Who's to say not me? Why couldn't I? Whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, right? Maybe the first thing is simply to start arguing with that story in your head. Wait a minute, I'm the exact type of person that, and then fill in the blank, because you probably are. Because until someone was whatever they were that you know them for, they weren't anyone. Just like you think you're not, right? Everyone's a no one from nowhere until you're someone from somewhere. And not everyone's going to be that, but if you are going to be that, you're certainly not going to be that from the beginning. It's going to take time and energy and commitment. And it's building those patterns and habits, and it's programming yourself to become the type of person who can be whatever the thing it is that you want to be. Take the steps. Take the first steps, whatever they are, on the journey. And on the journey of becoming, you turn into the person who can have and yield and be whatever it is you're trying to have and yield and be. Programming. Think about it. Think about what you're doing. Pay attention to the patterns and cycles. Look at what you're getting. The evidence is in the day-to-day. Pay attention to it. And if it's not what you're looking for, then recognize that you can change that programming.